When I'm walking down the street.
I do want to say to Doni and many of you in this room that over a very long career in this city, all of you have helped me and my colleagues tell the truth and to try to tell.
I may not look like you and you me, but
Take my hat off.
I'm South Carolina, so I just.
What does this event mean to you, Miss Peggy Moss?
Oh, my heart.
Happy 20th anniversary.
My heart is about loving up on my sisters. Do you know what it feels like to have your sisters in the room? Done.
And dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. I am beautiful, I am blessed, but not just what you see in the flesh. I'm free from people, free from myself. There's
The doctor lived next door to the janitor, to the reverend, and the lawyer. We were together. Now we get so high and mighty that you create stress for your society because you don't like poor black folks either. That's a health problem. Get yourself together so I can stop being taking care of geriatric people and get back to pediatrics. I thank you, Doni, for all you've done. Let's keep doing it all the more.
letting His glory shine through. Dare to be you, dare to be me, dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. And I dare you, I dare you, I dare you to be you.
Good morning. First name's Doni, last name's Glover. In it to win it for the long haul, baby. Let's just get straight to the jugular. Joining us this morning, we have the incomparable Marsha Reeves Juice. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
Outstanding.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. And we also have with us the lifeguard, Mr. Michael Haynie, fresh back from Costa Rica, midway on his way to Africa. Good morning, Mr. Haynie.
Hey, good morning, Marsha. Always good to see you, Doni. Thank you so much for having me. Happy New Year, Marsha. I miss you.
I know it's been a minute. We'll have to catch up.
So we got to bless this week with prayer. That's how we usually start off this Monday show. Might either one of you care
Go
to?
ahead, Michael.
Hey, gracious Father, thank you so much for allowing three friends to get together. You know, please bless us, bless our city, bless our conversation, that people are listening and we opening up minds and hearts to the willingness of changing the direction, not only of our city, but of ourselves as contributions to our cities. In your name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Mike, it's usually ladies first, but I've been dying to ask you, what does the world think of the United States when you have a Donald Trump leading the Republican nomination battle for president?
Hey, so that's a good question. And thank you so much, Doni, for having me on the show. But when you have a Tim Scott, let's talk about Black America, because we talked about this on 60 Minutes in Black America, my Sunday show. Go back and take a look at it on our YouTube channel. We talked about Tim Scott cheerleading in a Al Jolson face yesterday or 2 days ago, endorsing Donald Trump. And what contribution does that make, or what does that mean to our people when we have someone like Tim Scott endorsing him? Ron DeSantis caved in. What people are saying is that Black people can identify with Donald Trump because he's been victimized by the system. Oh boy, are we not in moral trouble?
He hasn't been victimized. He's the victimizer. He's the perpetrator of the indecencies.
Well, we're on the same page with that.
Marsha Juice, why is Donald Trump not locked up? Why is it that people are actually talking about him beating Biden to become president again? What does this man have to do in order to be locked up? If he were Barack Obama, he'd be locked up.
Well, if you have such a large percentage of racist Americans who follow this man, and they are taking over the majority, then that's what you're going to get, because those people, those racist white people, are going to vote for Donald Trump. They're going to raise millions and millions of dollars for Donald Trump. They don't want anybody black back up in there. They don't want anybody who doesn't look like them running this country. And they want to annihilate anybody who is in their way. And Donald Trump has led the charge, and he's going to keep leading the charge. And he's got mobs of racist people from all over the hills and the mountains and down in the valleys. They're all there supporting this racist white guy because he represents the way that we can get rid of all these people with melanin.
Michael Haynie, what are we to think of ourselves? You travel abroad. Does it make you hesitant to open your mouth when you go abroad for fear of being identified as an American?
Hey, well, we'll find out when I stop off in Turkey and talk to the Turkish people for a bit, because I'll spend a day in Turkey, and I want to ask them their opinion of what they feel the involvement of the United States in the Middle East crisis, which is another reason why us as a people have to continue to educate ourselves as to what candidate is the candidate best suited for us as we begin to send our young people off to war, which is going to be happening very shortly. But to what Marsha said earlier, what does it really say when over 15% of the blacks, particularly black males that voted for Biden in 2020, now have turned to Trump? So you have a higher number of blacks to the tune of 22% overall, mainly black males that are in support of Donald Trump. So is it him that's racist, or is this his policy that's racist, or is it those that are around him that are racist? What is it that they see in the Donald Trump presidency that gives them favor over having someone that's not named Donald Trump, maybe a Kennedy, for instance?
Marsha Jews, Hunter Biden is not doing his father any service, any justice with his antics. Any thoughts on Hunter Biden? Because what it seems like is that he's just as wrong as Donald Trump.
Well, the problem is that he doesn't have any parents to manage him and to teach him what he's
a grown man.
Doing. His behavior is that of a child, and he has not taken on the responsibility of being the child of the President of the United States of America. He doesn't see it as being important. He can say and do whatever he wants, and moreover, his father and mother cannot control him. So if you have people who are supposed to be the leaders of this nation that can't control their kid at 50 years old or 40 years old, however old he is, then what are you supposed to do? The whole thing is horrific, and it's an embarrassment the way this nation is being managed.
Michael Haynie, have you ever allowed any of your children to disrespect you?
Hey, when they're out of their mind and when they're out of their, okay.
Granted, our children grow up, but are you not of the ilk that I was raised under, where one of your parents came to you in the dark of night and said, I brought you in this world and I will take you out?
That's the same thing they said in South Bend, Indiana.
My mother's still telling me that if I
Okay.
disrespect her and go crazy at the age of 65, man. She still tells me in front of my children that she will spank me. You know, now I know it's a proverbial, but I got her point and they get her point as well. But when you
Did
have
your father-
someone,
did your
Hunter is no
father-
different than,
Did your father not step to
Did my
you
father
back
what?
in high school when you thought when you were smelling yourself, as they would say? Did he not put that right hook on you?
yeah, he knocked me down. He knocked me down 2 flights of steps, man, and made me go to the Baltimore Bullets game for black eye after he did so because of my, apparent behavior. But to the point of Hunter Biden, he's no different than the Trump kids. Entitlement is entitlement. Then when you have someone like Hunter Biden who was on drugs and not of the proper mindset, It's all about white privilege, and that's the consummate example of white privilege, as a white woman in Congress said to him 2 weeks ago in a hearing. You know, Hunter Biden is the poster child for privilege, and his daddy is not guilty of this as well. So let's make it clear that let's look at both sides of the spectrum equally. Republican, Democrat, it's a farce when it comes to black communities, and that Joe Biden, in his position as vice president, gave his son the platform to get $50,000 a month, a bank account of over $3 million. Because if Hunter Biden was just some white guy out of Teaneck, New Jersey, or Jersey City, he would not have had his access. You think his daddy didn't know?
Well, they all know. And it's a game to them because they believe that they can do and say whatever they want to say. And we're just supposed to sit quietly by and allow it. And the reality is,
You're absolutely right, Marsha. We go
they need
uneducated. Joe, yeah. So
they
Joe
need
Biden
to
goes down to James Clyburn in South Carolina, eats chitlins and potato salad, and entrusts him to get us his vote. When Joe Biden is no different, to me, maybe morally he has a different compass when it comes to racism. But if you look at the racist act he did in the 90s with the legislation that criminalized the difference between crack and powder cocaine and marijuana, that locked up tens of thousands of blacks, which he later apologized for, we got to go deep, deep, deep. Are any of these two candidates the right candidates for us in
No,
Black America? That's what we have to explore. We have
no,
to explore it.
Hell no. Hell no.
Yeah.
no.
Yeah. So maybe Trump isn't so bad after all if he kills 90,000 IRS agents, lowers tax burdens so that poor blacks don't have to pay taxes the way they do, and he allows many of them out so they can go work for his friends in corporate America. So maybe we need to look a little deeper at Donald Trump as they are and overlook the atrocities and criminal acts that he's performed for the past 40 years. Donald Trump didn't become a criminal 2 years ago.
Mm-mm. But he's white, and that gives him the
White privilege.
ability
You've been
to
robbing
open
people
that
since the
door.
slave ship with
Yeah.
the same clip and the
Same
same
old, same
fofo.
old, same old, same old, and we allow it. And we pat them on the hand or on the back and keep it moving. And we, as some of these black folks, don't even understand what their role is because they're culpable.
Absolutely. And so Joe Biden is the alternative? I
No,
don't know. Not in my book.
nope, nope.
I'm afraid that he's going to stumble and fall walking to Air Force One.
I wouldn't be
So
surprised.
Joe Biden?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he
Well, he
fell off
stumbled. He
that.
stumbled and fell walking to Afghanistan. He stumbled and fell walking to Roe versus Wade. He stumbled and fell walking towards the Russian-Ukrainian money that we've given them. He stumbled and fell going to Mideast and giving Israel over $16 billion to bomb people and then tell them to slow their roll. And they said, "Who are you talking to? You don't own us. We have a right to do what we need to do with our money." Crazy.
Well, let's talk about that. Right now, you have the Houthis who are from Yemen, and they're not letting anything come through the Red Sea. They're busting a cap on anything that moves. And then you got Hezbollah coming at Israel from the northern side, from Lebanon. So you got Hezbollah pushing up on them. You got the Houthis pushing up on them. And then you got Hamas. What is going on? And I seem to know a little bit more about world politics than our boy Martin O'Malley when he was on stage with Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. They were running circles around him. But I better shut up because he now runs Social Security, and who knows, I might want to get a check one day. But you got the Houthis, you got Hamas, and then you got the camps from Lebanon, Hezbollah. All of them are descending on Israel. You know the Saudis' money is involved. You know the United Arab Emirates' money is involved. And if these ships don't go through the Suez Canal, then they got to go all the way around Africa which is another couple of days, adds money, adds costs, adds cost to whatever they're shipping. So let's start with you, Marsha. Any thoughts on, your last name is Jews. Why wouldn't we start with you? What in the hell is going on with Israel, with Netanyahu? What's up with the peoples? And then where does America stand? How far does America go to support Israel, knowing that all of these little countries around them are about to bank them?
Mm-hmm. Well, part of our challenge is that we have no leadership. So if you don't have the leadership that's required in order for nations to be managed, for international conversations, if we don't have the right people in the right place to do what needs to be done, to have the real conversations, to talk with our leadership, we have a whole team in the Defense Department to have a conversation, and we are still, still sitting back, allowing everything to continue, and we're not involved in making real life decisions for the world, not just our nation or a part of a community of countries. It's the world is being impacted, and we allow it because we don't have leadership coming from any of the sides. Oh, yeah.
Michael Haynie, are you familiar with Ralph Bunche?
Yes, I've heard of Ralph Bunche.
Ralph Bunche negotiated peace in the Middle East between the Arabs and the Jews. This is no short story. There was a time when what's his name? Not Yasser Arafat, Anwar Sadat in Egypt. He was forced, compelled to make peace, and then the Arabs hated him, and he got assassinated. Shimon Peres and all of these cats, Menachem Begin. At what point? If it's like two people down the street, they want to keep fighting, let them keep fighting, but don't drag me into it. Y'all want to fight, y'all fight. But we get involved and we start kicking money. But I tell you who ain't playing with Israel. And they are part of this BRICS thing. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. South Africa ain't playing with them. South Africa didn't forget when Israel was financing the Dutch and apartheid. So it's like the chickens are coming home to roost. And so people are going to have a price to pay because people ain't forgot. Just like when the Queen of England died, everybody, a lot of the Western world didn't realize how much people hated her. Them people in Jamaica, Barbados, had no love for the white woman. It was all over social media. But there are those of us who watch American television. Oh, the Queen! It's the Queen! The bloody Queen! Any thoughts, Michael Haynie?
Hey, so, just to what Marsha said, that we don't have true leadership. Well, leadership's an illusion. And we talk about that in Baltimore City as well, where we have an elected mayor, elected president.
We're going to get to Baltimore.
I just want to do a comparison for the people, where we put people in positions of leadership, elected, president, vice president, House of Representatives, U.S. Senate. But the real leadership, is it in Hollywood? Is it in the banks that have relationships with those in the Middle East? So it isn't that we don't have leadership. It's the illusion of leadership that we think that we have, because believe me, Joe Biden is not calling the shots on the Middle East. So it's not a matter of us not having leadership, to what Marsha's point was. It's a matter of us understanding who the leaders are and calling the shots. Is it Boeing, McDonnell Douglas? When Joe Biden gave, with Congress approval, $16 billion for Israel for their defense, just as well as we do the same with the 90-some billion we've given Ukraine, that money never leaves the country. It's to develop weapons to send over there. So what you're doing is you're filling the coffers of American businesses that manufacture war weapons and ship them over there. So they're the shot callers. They're the ones that call the shot. The president is just a figurehead, particularly when it comes to commerce and the economy. You know that Syria got bombed by the U.S. just a couple days ago, right? So Syria is now in the picture. Then we got Lloyd Austin, a black man, the second highest militaristic commander in the
Secretary
United
of
States. The
Defense.
first one, yeah, he's the Secretary of Defense. He's
Mhm.
behind Joe Biden and calling the shots. They're trying to oust him because he was laid up in the hospital with prostate complications and playing Nintendo over in the Middle East, firing bombs anyway. At least he said that, right? And what does that figurehead look like as it relates to our young boys? Because all this crime and all these issues that we're having with education, with our people in our urban cities across America, they got some place for them to go, just like they did during Vietnam. Trust me. And it's all part of an economic, this is what they call an economic boom that's about to happen. It's just that many of us won't feel the effects of it.
Marsha Jews, let's shift to a little more local. Any thoughts on public education here in Baltimore City?
We need to have a new superintendent of schools
Why?
because she's incompetent and incapable of educating our children properly.
Well, I just saw Mayor Scott give Dr. Sonia Santalisa some type of honor for her accomplishments.
It's unfortunate
Why?
because she's needs to be removed, and our children need to be educated, and she's not doing that under her watch.
Well, she says she is, Marsha.
Well, but she's not, and the numbers represent that.
Marsha, by all indications, she's done the best job that she can, and some
Then she
suggest
needs to
that
be removed.
she deserves to make
She's
maybe
been the best she can, the best she can.
400,000 a year.
It's almost $500,000 a year, and the children in many of these schools cannot read. We don't have access to the internet. They can't write. They don't have everything that's needed that all of these Roland Park schools and
Marsha, they have
we don't have it in our
$23,000 of expenditure money per pupil. $23,000
but the
per
kids
pupil.
aren't getting it. But the kids aren't getting it.
Well, who's
They're
getting the
not getting
money?
it. The infants. Ask Sandalisa. She can tell you. She's looking at those numbers, but it's not reflective in these school systems. Schools have fallen down. They don't have air. They don't have the computers in the schools. They don't have anything, and people are saying it's okay.
Well, if this were a majority, and I'm going to piggyback on what Calvin just posted, if the majority of the school system students were white, we'd
It'd be
see
a different conversation. No question. No question.
Well,
and don't nobody care about that black child. And clearly the black people don't. And clearly the mayor doesn't, because he keeps her sitting there. And she's making $500,000 doing what?
Yes, she needs to go, but you have to remember that the folks below her need to go as well. It's not all her fault if the staff don't do their job as well. Is that your Kathy, Michael?
That's Kathy. Hey, Kathy, baby.
So, Mike, just a sidebar. I'm just trying to. What's up with the shirt, Mike? Is it like a muscle shirt?
So Wake Up Baltimore scene every Monday at 7:30 on our YouTube channel is about saving and lifeguarding the lives in Baltimore City. So we've championed since last spring a cause that we're all lifeguards in Baltimore City, protecting and saving the lives of Baltimoreans by taking to the street, not to the pool, and engaging particularly our young people trying to save a life. So I'm a lifeguard for the city of Baltimore.
Oh, I thought you were trying to be like a sex symbol or something. Okay, way to go,
Well,
Mike.
I'm glad you asked that. Even though the guns are still there at the age of 65, it's a whole different meaning and perspective.
Okay, now just one last question. What about the color scheme? I mean, you got on red and then you got the purple. And I understand the purple, but just trying to, maybe you need
Purple pride. Purple pride. When they used to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue in orange suits, matter of fact, and a white hat. I've seen you do the same thing. Baltimore has never been ashamed of being, different in terms of color fashion. So if you don't like my purple hat on purple Monday, purple Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, or Saturday, because I wear purple with orange. It's all about the Ravens. It's always about the home team. Don't walk into my hotel with a New York Yankee hat on and think that you still got a job. That's how I feel.
Oh, you real serious about that too?
Well, I will wear a Yankees hat. I wear it in your hotel and anywhere else. And I'll tell you why I will wear a Yankees hat, because the Yankees did the best Oriole wrong. And that was Reggie Jackson. And he left here, he went to New York and smacked 3 home runs in 1 World Series game. And that's to bang all of the racism and apartheid that comes out of this city right in the mouth.
They call it business.
With a capital B.
Yeah, they brought Frank Robinson here, didn't they?
Yeah, but Frank Robinson almost left had they not found him somewhere to stay in Ashburton, because he was on his way out.
Did you say almost?
He was on his way out. Baltimore's got a long reputation for being a racist, segregated town, and you know that.
All 3 of us, Marsha included, I'm sure, have felt that frustration at times during the course of our lives, but all roads lead home. You know what I'm saying? And wherever we choose to go here in America, the same systemic racism exists, particularly in urban America, and unless we're like Tim Scott or that counterfeit Supreme Court judge that just immerse and embrace a philosophy and just say, oh, what the hell? I might as well just join them and just go along to get along. But we're not like that. So we stay and remain. But I'm not putting a New York Yankee hat on my head. And I find it grossly apparent that anybody that says they're from Baltimore can stand to put a New York Yankee Boston Red Sox hat on their head.
Name 5 African American players on the Baltimore Orioles. African American.
Hey, that's baseball in general, man. I don't care. It's all about the home team.
See,
I hear you, Doni.
when you had Paul Blair, when you had Ken Singleton, when you had Lee May, that was the time I was proud of the Orioles. I don't see anybody that looks like me that speaks English
man.
on the
Forget
Baltimore
the Orioles. Forget the, what I'm saying is when I see you with a New York Yankee,
Are there black people that play? Are there black people who play baseball?
Black Americans, absolutely. There's very few now.
No, white America has priced black people out of the game. A little league baseball bat costs $400. $400. When we were kids,
that's not true.
It is true.
What's $400?
A baseball bat. You got to get your own bat. You got to bring your own equipment. They priced us out the game because we have dominated too much of sports.
I don't think that's true. I think that our focus on sports has turned to basketball. Yes, I did. I played in Little League in Evanston Village, where we had 3 baseball fields off of Wildwood Parkway, just like Forest Park. Those fields still exist, but the focus have been different. Someone mentioned parenting. Me not playing baseball, me not reading isn't a result of the system. It's a result of my parenting, which you alluded to earlier when you said my parents were accountable for my behavior and what I did and what I didn't do. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. You said yes to her, I get smacked upside the head. You don't want to go play baseball? Are you crazy? You better get your over there and do what I tell you to do. Sit down and read this book. And to what Marsha was talking about in terms of superintendent of public schools, we have paid over $1.5 million over the course of her time for not necessarily incompetency, just the right skill set in the wrong place. Okay? I wouldn't remove her, but I wouldn't let her go because there's too much value there, but we need a new leader. I just had the school board elected commissioner on Wake Up Baltimore this morning, Ashley Esposito. You know what she said she would do? She said she would abstain from the vote to remove Dr. Santelises based on what she has learned. Now, we're going to ask her more next month about what she has learned because we've had 6 mayoral candidates, only Brandon and Sheila left. Sheila next week is coming, and they all said they will remove Dr. Santelises. But how come our elected school board members said she would abstain or not do it. I'm concerned.
Sound like somebody got some money in somebody's pocket somewhere.
I don't know if that's the case. Maybe there's things that we don't know. Maybe
Well,
she's a
it's
little
a damn
too.
shame that we don't know them because this is our city too. And that's a part of the problem when
Yep.
people think, oh, we're the only ones who can understand the situation.
Absolutely. I agree with you, Donnie. And if this is our city and I agree this is your city, don't you let me see you wear a New York Yankee damn hat again on your head, man, because I'm going to snatch it off.
Oh,
Can I
did
do
you
that for
like
you?
that? Oh, did you do
I-
that?
Absolutely. It's
I-
all about the home team.
Oh,
It's
that
all
looked like
about
a
the
challenge.
home team.
That looked like
There's
a
no New
challenge.
York Yankee hat on your head, Donnie. Do not wear a New York Yankee hat on your head ever again, Donnie. Please. Please, I beg you.
Oh,
If I was your daddy, I'd beat you back.
is that a challenge, Mr. Glover?
That's not a challenge. If I was his father, I'd beat his butt.
Why?
Just like Donnie said. Because it's all about the home team. We are Baltimoreans.
I'm a Ravens fan all day long. The Orioles want my support. Tell them get some African American players. The Calvin coming here talking about we can afford Jordans. The truth be told, baseball has died in the black community. Baseball is a sport
Because they had let it die.
Used their sons to it. Fathers used to play catch with their sons. And the truth of the matter is when you have 70% single mother households, that tradition dies.
Guess what other tradition died? You know what the
Now,
other tradition that died?
let me give you my rebuttal. Let me give you my rebuttal on you touching anything on my head, whether it's a Yankees cap or what have you.
If you
touch anything on me, I'm not responsible. Okay?
Oh, what's that mean, Donnie?
I mean, I'm gonna pluck him right upside his head.
Oh, pluck.
Too bad. I guess we'll be in the middle of Sandtown with what's her name? Kelsey's woman. What's her name? She's staying in Sandtown this weekend, by the way. What's Kelsey's woman when Kansas City comes? What's that woman that goes with Kelsey, the tight end? Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift.
But I've already given Pharaoh a sample of your clothing, so I just tell you to watch it back. And by the way,
but you know the other tradition that has died, and you know the other tradition that has died. I got to get this point out: the tradition of reading. So baseball and reading are true traditions that we don't no longer support in our communities. And where does that come from? It comes from the parenting.
Why? Why aren't the parents involved anymore?
Maybe it's from the crack addiction, and we're getting the residual of that. You know, the parents that were not accountable.
Crack has done a number on our community from the late 80s to, I mean, this has been 35 years.
It takes a while to weed all that out. It takes a while to weed all that out.
Yeah. And I mean, what we're seeing today is the crack babies, crack grandbabies. What'd you say, Marsha?
What about the leadership?
Well, let me ask you this, because I've not been able, I haven't posed this question to both of you and your lady friend, it was Taylor Swift, Michael Haynie. What about here in the city of Baltimore? They say that the murder rate has gone down. Do you believe the murder rate went down, Marsha?
I don't believe that. I believe
Michael Haynie, do you believe the murder rate went down?
No.
I see too much of the announcements in the papers and on the news of somebody getting shot somewhere in the city on a regular.
I mean, all mysteriously, you 700 officers short. The officers that you do have, they stay in the car, and you telling me that that's some proactive policing that drove the murder rate down?
They just sit in the car.
I bet too many gunshots to buy that.
Yeah.
Quantify my answer of no. I want to quantify my answer. We had a woman, 60 years old, a grandmother and mother, shot and killed on Pennington Avenue. One of 5 murders this past Friday. We had 5 murders this past Friday, including a grandmother that was shot inadvertently, apparently. But when you ask me, has the murder rate gone down from what? You know, how do you justify 350 and then say 270 isn't abhorrent and an issue as well? So in my estimation, the murder rate hasn't gone down, but here we are as a people judging our mayoral candidates on whether they say they can take the murder rate down. I want to know how much money you can put in my pocket if you can give me affordable housing, more than 2 floors, so that I can raise my family. That's what I want to know. But that's our mentality that we have been pushed to, because guess what? Donald Schaefer is still the mayor of Baltimore. You didn't know that? He didn't die. He's still the mayor. The influence of his power is still in City Hall.
Let me ask you this, Michael. What impact will Baltimore Gas and Electric being given full access to the underground utilities, what impact will
And
that
they're
deal
tearing up my
have?
streets.
And that was a deal that Jim Shea, who was initially the
Mhm.
city solicitor, is the same guy that Brandon ran for lieutenant governor. When Jim Shea was running for governor, one of the first deals was a $42 million deal that gave Venable the ability to negotiate the BG&E deal. Then Jim
Mhm.
Shea left City Hall as a solicitor and then went back to Venable.
Yep. And making
Who
stupid
will
money.
remember that? What impact will that have on the citizens of Baltimore and their decision on whom to vote for?
Well, you know what? That's a good question, Donnie, because you look at the decision that was made to give the Inner Harbor to the Pataracases, et cetera, as they developed the Inner Harbor by Schaefer all the way around. So it's only natural that our conduit and what's underneath the city, and guess what happens
They're
when we
tearing it
start to
all up.
build out the piping, is that they start to give that away as well. You
They're
know, it's
giving
all
it
about the
away.
money. It's
They're
all
giving
the
it
money.
away.
That's why I said Donald Schaefer is still here and alive in terms of the policies of taking care of those that need to be taken care of. So it was only natural, because that was all that was left to give away, was conduit and infrastructure. Like, watch the red line that comes down from the Baltimore County jurisdictions through Edmondson Village over to Johns Hopkins University. Who do you think is going to get the benefit of that on the
Well,
way?
I don't know, Mike,
And why
because
isn't that pipe public? Why isn't that pipe public? We should be able to have internet connection going through that pipe throughout this entire city, and this whole city should be able to have internet connection. And we're not dealing with that. We're not dealing with the fact that these major corporations are getting stupid money off of that. BG&E's got leadership in there, and all of those doggone dollars, percentages that they get from being members of that clan. We're still sitting here looking at it.
but
BG&E's been
Marsha,
all up and down my street.
Calvin
Calvin
Butler.
Butler ain't running nothing.
He was hailed. He was
He ain't
hailed. He
running
was
nothing.
celebrated. This is a black man that's
He's not
representing
running
Baltimore
nothing.
Gas and Electric,
He's not
and he
running
was
nothing.
he was celebrated across the city, across corporate America. Michael Haynie, Calvin
Yeah, he looked
Butler.
like
That's all
Tim
he
Scott.
heard.
He looked just like Tim Scott endorsing Donald Trump yesterday on TV with the Al Jolson dance, et cetera, et cetera. See, when it becomes more about our own motives and selfishly, we're not looking out for everyone else. I mean, they give little tokens to appease us, but at the end of the day, it was all because of what they ultimately wanted, which is what they got. That's why special interest money does not belong in political campaigns.
We need a new mayor.
Okay, what about the Baltimore City Board of Elections? I've been wanting to ask both of you about Armstead Jones. Why does he still have a job? Back in 2016, there were 1,800 voting irregularities in Baltimore City compared to 200 in the 23 other jurisdictions combined. Why does he still have a job? Michael Haynie, can you make 1,800 mistakes on your job, in your business, and still be in business?
Sure, I could, as long as it affected you and allowed control. The same thing with city planning. City planning and the Board of Election are two fictitious things that we think that we have control and we manage, and we don't, because they determine outcomes of communities and outcomes of elections. So therefore, those people that we put in place there are ones that will do what it is that we need them to do, or that they need them to do, in order to maintain what they see as their sense of order and control.
But they're
Okay?
put, but what they're doing is setting up the whole departments. All these departments are being led by somebody who is the puppeteer. And they're doing what they need to do to get the money, to get the power, period. And what we haven't done is we don't go through, and this is a good start, that all of these people need to be investigated, seriously investigated.
I
And
hear
there's
you.
a lot more to these stories than what we know today.
Where did
I
all of
agree
the
with you, Marsha.
where did all of the Safe Street money go?
Oh, you should call James Bond over there at Living Classroom.
Whoo! Oh my! And who else has it? Lifebridge, Catholic Charities.
Catholic Charities.
All that.
Lifebridge has it as well. Marsha, you're opening up a box of worms, man.
It's
You know
that's
this is
real.
that's because
The
you're
truth
right.
needs
That's where the
no
money goes.
the truth needs no support because it's the truth.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely. And maybe what we
everybody's
need is a
paying.
white mayor. Maybe we need a white mayor. Maybe we need a white mayor that's not afraid when we go and say we want this done, that they may carry that agenda versus what we're getting that is bought and paid for that continues to carry out the mandate against our communities, man. It's almost like that guy that played in that movie, what is it, the Django? Almost
Yeah,
like Tim Scott.
I didn't watch the movie, but I like Larry Hogan for mayor.
isn't he a Republican?
He is a Republican. I think
Why
that's
do you like him
exactly
for
what Baltimore
mayor?
needs because it's 9-1 Democrat. And what that means for me is no checks and balances.
So
Well, Donald Scoggins is running for mayor. He's a brother.
who's that?
Donald Scoggins. He's a good guy running for mayor as a
Okay.
Republican.
Okay.
Bob Wallace is running for mayor as a Democrat. He was a
Yeah.
Republican, so maybe he has Republican values. So maybe we get a mixture with him.
Okay.
But I think that we
So
need a different face. We need a white mayor, maybe.
Oh, who's the white mayor? Well, you already had a couple of them. So who's
But they
Michael Haynie, I'm really astonished that you would make such a bold proclamation on
just threw it out
blackusa.net.
there. Yeah, maybe I was facetious. Maybe we can't get anything with what we have, right?
Why don't you run for mayor, Michael Haynie?
Because I'm not interested. I'm not, same reason Wes Moore didn't run for mayor of Baltimore. It's a no
Oh, he
no
was
win
going to
position.
run in 2016.
No, he wasn't.
Yes,
Somebody
yes,
talked
he
him out
did.
of it and said, you can't win. You can't win being a black mayor in Baltimore. And he made the right decision. Baltimore is a no-win scenario.
That's
Black
some
politician. You
hypothetical. That's some
cannot win.
hypothetical that you put out there.
It's
I
not
tell you this,
hypothetical at all.
it is. It's very hypothetical.
Who should be
Winning governor of Maryland is easier than running for mayor of Baltimore.
Who should be the mayor of Baltimore?
Oh, I'm gonna tell you, and this man got it right. He finally got it right.
Maybe James Piper Bond.
Well, he's a racist, so you got to move on to the next.
Ooh, wow. But look at all the programs he controls in the black community.
Yeah,
And look
at
what
all
happened.
that money.
They
And look
treated
at
him
all the
like
money he's getting over there at Living Classroom.
yeah. They
Go
treated him
talk
like
about that.
they treated him like Hunter Biden when that taxi flipped over. James who?
Ooh. Oh wow. That's
Jigga
powerful.
what? Jigga who?
Hey, maybe that guy with Sinclair that just bought the Baltimore Sun, Smith. Maybe that's who it should be running for mayor. How about that? What about that
He's
Sun
got the
Paper deal,
power.
man? That
He's
was
got the power.
huge.
He's got
Why
the
was it
power.
huge?
Absolutely. That was huge.
Why was it huge?
Well, because all of a sudden he controls the media because black people, unfortunately, aren't listening to your show in the numbers that they should. So where do they get their media information? We always talk about the show, Black USA and Be More News is a show that black people need to go for. So we get information here, then we go check and verify. But we're laying the foundation on Marsha Jew's show, Donnie Glover's show, maybe Mike
Marsha, he hit me in the stomach. He hit me
has
dead
a
in the
show, and then we go check and verify. But we get the Baltimore Sun, we get the Baltimore Sun, we get Fox 45. Now we got the Baltimore Banner of all these rich folks that tell us what it is they want to.
Because we too busy on
Is
TikTok
that more important to us doing a
with
dance
our
on TikTok?
grandchildren.
Well,
Did
another
I see you
parenting
on
issue.
TikTok doing a dance, Michael Haynie?
Probably, possibly.
the reality is that we need leadership that's going to lead, and all this
Everybody
other
come here to
foolishness
Baltimore
and
to
all that
pimp.
talking, all that
Like
talking.
I don't know
Radio One.
Marsha.
That's why we got this
Talking loud
network.
and saying nothing. Talking loud and saying nothing.
I
That's
don't
why
know
we
What's
got
Marsha.
this
happening
network.
I
in
don't
this
know.
city? Talking
Look at the
loud and
mayoral
saying nothing.
candidates. But Marsha, look at the mayoral candidates that we have: Wendy
Yeah.
Bazell, Wendell Freeman, Donald Scoggins, who else? Yolanda
Bob
Pulley,
Wallace.
Bob Wallace, Sheila Dixon. If you had to choose between those, Marsha, where do you look?
None of the
Who do you
above.
get?
None of the above.
Really? So it's a none of the above?
None of the above. There's nothing out
So the
there
de
on that
facto
plane
candidate, the
that I
winner, so
want.
you just declared the winner.
Yes, I
Winner is
just
Brandon Scott.
imploded
The
the
winner
whole
is
thing.
Brandon Scott. Based on what Marsha just said, I believe Brandon's going to be reelected mayor. Marsha, you just called the mayoral race.
It's real.
You know, this cat Michael Randolph down in Florida, he reads a lot of news clippings, and it's amazing what the rest of the country thinks is happening here in Baltimore, all behind the news clippings. And that's why, you know, I'm doing my graduate research on how to preserve the black press, because so much of what we know, even about our history, comes to us through non-black means. So even our brothers and sisters from around the country who used to live in Baltimore are absolutely clueless as to what's going on because they're busy reading national headlines that are clearly fictitious.
You say fake news?
Did you know that Baltimore is one of the 10 top places to visit according to the New York Times?
What you talking about East Harbor? Because clearly you ain't talking about North Avenue.
They
Clearly
say
you're not talking about
Baltimore
North and
is
Mount Royal,
the top
where the
10
traffic is
places
backed
to
up
visit.
for a mile.
Just came out.
Y'all
Clearly
funny.
you're not talking about North Avenue.
Y'all funny. Leave North Avenue alone.
All
And
right, so
maybe
what
other cities are worse. Maybe other cities
But
are worse than Baltimore,
can we
Donnie.
just
Maybe
get rid
that's
of
the
the bike
comparison.
lanes? Can we just get rid of the bike lanes? I
Is
just
that
need to.
something crazy or what? Is that
I need the bike
crazy or
lanes
what?
to go.
And that no,
Can
what's
you
crazy is
believe
they got
it is
MTA
crazy?
police on North Avenue to pull you over if you happen to be driving in one of them because you're trying to get home. It's a whole lane of traffic. And
Crazy
you
as
can't,
hell.
I mean, is that apartheid or what? These white people crazy. They
City
crazy.
planning,
You got a
city
whole
planning,
lane. I'm
city
late.
planning.
I'm late because you got a whole empty lane, no bus, no bike, because some white planner said, and then they got them little flex posts in the middle sticking out on the damn corner on the street that's already tight. Some of them.
City planning, city planning, city
All of
planning,
them
Board
white.
of Elections.
Every one of them is white.
Well, that's
You know
part
what?
of the
I can't be worried
gentrification
about no
model, Donnie.
doggone bicycle lanes. Those are white suburban people who have now moved to the city, and they want to do what they want to do. When they
I'll tell
want
you
to
who we
do.
haven't been hearing from. Now that with the David Smith takeover, the Baltimore Brood got real quiet lately.
Oh yeah.
Because people
Why
didn't
they-
like Fern Shin. People were talking smack. I know some people wanted to pluck Fern Shin upside her head, especially when she wrote about that girl Cage's daughter. They was gonna bust upside her damn head.
What did she say? I missed it.
She went all into the girl's personal life, which was irrelevant. Bike lanes are fine if they obey the bike lane rules. Kathy, where you live at? Where does she live at,
Now,
Michael?
I have no idea, but I don't agree with that. So, Kathy, you and I got to have a conversation because they are not okay. If you are in this city as much as we may be in this city, bike lanes are absolutely atrocious.
They got flex posts in the 1500 block of Stricker Street, and this is already a narrow street. Why would you put flex posts in there? Because they're gonna get run over, and more than that, they make people angry.
Right.
And then when people get angry, what are they more likely to do? Hit somebody or get out their car and smack the puppy crap out of somebody and make people angry. And these white planners know that. But you go down Washington Boulevard, no bike lanes, no speed trap cameras, no none of that. People just flying. You go to the white neighborhoods, go to Roland Park, ain't no bike. Go to Reisterstown Road, ain't no cameras. The people on Town Road, you know what I'm talking about. They do any damn thing they want.
Donnie, you sound like you're
Because they already have control of that section of the city. They already have control of that section.
Goddamn bike lane.
Why you
Maybe you should move up there.
The voice went up 20
because
octaves.
traffic is backed up from North and Mount Royal all the way to Fulton Avenue because you got one damn lane of traffic because some damn idiot don't know no damn better.
Absolutely.
Goddamn
Absolutely.
idiot.
I absolutely agree with that.
How do you change it, Donnie? How do you change it?
I would. You want to be mad? Tell me you're gonna take down the bike lanes, and I will campaign for you almost for free. Not for free, baby.
Not for free, though.
You got to pay them coins. See, Democrats. Let me tell you something about Democrats, and y'all both know it. Democrats are cheap, and they think black people are supposed to be volunteers, and then they go get these white boys from Harvard, Boston, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and they gonna come here and tell black people here what to do. Remember Anthony Brown had that? He bring these white boys in. Michael Haynie, I want you to go over here. I want you to go over here to North and Green Mountain, hold up a sign and say vote for the Democrats. Come on, man. Come on, man.
But Donnie, that's cheap. That's not cheap, Donnie. That's not cheap. That's racist. That's racist. So what you're saying is Democrats are just as racist as Republicans when it comes to a lot of stuff. We're not educated enough to be doing discernment.
It doesn't matter what your political position is.
No argument here, buddy.
So maybe Donald Trump's the de facto candidate that we need if we just overlook his, atrocities and his indiscretion. Maybe he's the one. Maybe he's the one.
Hey, Mike,
I don't know.
Five people got killed because of him. 5 people got killed.
Who?
At J6, January 6th.
Okay.
5 people got killed because, Michael, if one person got killed because of something you did, you'd be a wreck. You'd be a wreck. I know you.
Hey, listen, I don't disagree.
You'd be a wreck.
I don't disagree with you. What I'm saying to you is the alternatives have blood on their hands as well. The alternatives have blood on their hands as well. Joe Biden has blood on his hands of Americans over in the Middle East right now and in Afghanistan because it's all about the money. And when it becomes all about the money, you have inconsequential damages as a result of it.
Cash rules.
We have to do better research. I believe Michelle Obama would be the best candidate for America to run for president. Get Joe Biden out the way.
When I put that out there, black women shut me down. Oh, she's tired. Leave her be. This is a war. That's what we don't get. This is a war. And if anything, them people in the Gaza Strip, they have shown you how to fight. They take rocks and fight tanks. Now, I'm not saying that's the most logical thing, but that's how deep their struggle is. They will fight tanks with rocks. And we got
too much. We got too much heat.
Hold up, Mike. Since integration, hold up, Marsha. Since integration, we want to move to the county. We want 5. How many bathrooms, Marsha? 5 bathrooms. We want the white people. We want to be able to have our lattes. We want to send our children to Archbishop Curley and Cardinal Gibbons and Friends School and Loyola Blakefield. But meanwhile, you got vacant houses up and down like 16,000 in the city of Baltimore. You got a young generation that has never seen a new recreation center at 24th and Green Mountain, at Easterwood, at Lillian Jones in Sandtown, at John Eager Howard. Why in the hell have we served our children? We have failed our children.
We have.
$50 million has come through the Maryland State Lottery since 1973, but we got classrooms with icicles on them in the winter. And
why don't we have computers for every child and the connectivity in all of
because somebody at Baltimore City Public School System is stealing them, and they hide behind the unions.
Maybe they steal them before they get to Baltimore City Public School Systems because the city budget and the school budget become slush funds for repaying favors of those that contribute to campaigns.
It's a damn shame because too many black people involved.
How can you verify that?
Because you see where the money goes. You see where the money goes out, particularly with Baltimore City Public Schools. You see who the contractors are, like Whiting Turner, involved with the $1 billion 21st century school and the payout, very few contractors that aren't subcontractors with that. That's where the money goes. You look at the system in terms of those that get educational tools. You know, they don't know one that looks like us. You look at Dallas Dance. He was aligned when he was with Baltimore County and took a snippet of what they do, okay, and he was put in jail.
So
City
was Darrell
school
D'Souza.
money is the
Darrell
slush
D'Souza was the police
is
commissioner.
the slush fund for
They locked
politicians.
up Darrell D'Souza for taxes. You ain't never heard of that in the history of blackness, except with Wesley Snipes.
But that's what
why
they
call
do.
it Mob Town, because it's a corrupt ass city.
We're not even going to talk about the lady up at Harvard University, Claudia Gay, who they got her out because of the anti-Semitic views she allowed on a college campus where you should have opposing views. They said, well, we can't have you because the Jews decided that they weren't going to contribute to the coffers of Harvard because unless she went, they weren't giving any more money. So what did they do? They got her out another way. They went to her dissertation and got her out that way. Fannie Willis down in Georgia, a black woman that was after Donald Trump, they could have, what did they do? They got her for inappropriate discretion by having an affair with the lead prosecutor. That's what they do. They go at us another way. We got Marilyn Mosby on trial right now in Baltimore City as a result of her indiscretions as well. So black women may be tired. Maybe they shouldn't. Maybe they've taken too many hits and they don't need to be in those positions. Maybe that's where we are.
Or there people are targeting us, black women, because of the power that black women can yield and wield.
Meanwhile, they're digging up the moon. They're trying to look at space travel to mess this country, mess this world up. Now they want to go to another planet and mess it up. And I'm against it. Clean up your room. You can't even keep your room clean.
You can't afford to go anyway, so let them go. If they want to pay $1 billion or $1 million to fly to Mars, let them go. I don't care. If that's the case,
it's called Fix Fulton Avenue. Fix Fulton Avenue. Fix Fulton Avenue. Oh, it's like a damn roller coaster ride. Fix Fulton Avenue.
Have all these vacant properties refurbished and have people who are house poor.
And that red line ain't gonna be nothing but a highway to nowhere, all over again.
I doubt that.
We need to convert these vacant houses into housing for people who need housing.
Well, Marsha, you got a point, but it's just like the grocer who says that it's better for me to throw the food away than to give it to people for free because it dilutes the money. You know, it's the same concept with the vacant housing. And are we really looking at separate but equal? What does separate but equal mean in totality across this world? Everywhere you look, it's separate but equal. In the Mideast, it's about land and staying separate but equal. So why isn't America looking at separate but equal? Did the Ford versus Brown really do us injustice as a people, and that's what we're paying for now? Ford versus Brown versus
education? For the next 20, 50 years.
I can't believe all these women have let Roe v. Wade be reversed, and they're going to vote for Donald Trump. I can't believe that.
Maybe we'll see less black babies killed as a result. Because 45% of the abortions committed in this country are by black women. So it's not that I don't think a woman has a choice. It's just a matter there's alternatives to ensure that we don't have genocide within our population by looking at things.
So man shouldn't tell a woman what to do with her baby.
At all.
I don't disagree. Don't disagree. Unless I had the baby, maybe I want the baby. Maybe I want the baby. How about that? You don't want to give me the baby. We both agree to lay down.
Up to date, down tomorrow. Do your day and everything will follow.
We got 45 seconds left. We got 45 seconds left.
Good morning, world.